probably my favorite game of the year. We couldn't throw the ball in the ocean. We had a lot of people who got good looks and couldn't make them. You know, Lowry goes 2 for 11 from 3. John and Colin combined for 2 for 10. I guess John, Colin, and Keontae combined for 2 for 12 from 3. But the competitiveness of the team never waned. I think we guarded well enough to win the game. We competed well enough to win the game. We just didn't shoot well enough to win the game. And, you know, our team has to continue to learn, and tonight's a perfect example of there's a difference between playing bad and shooting bad. And if our team can consistently provide that level of competitiveness for 48 minutes, yes, there's turnovers from time to time. Yes, there's a botched coverage here and there or poor recognition of personnel from time to time. But those things are all kind of built in to what you expect in an NBA game. But if the competitiveness, the togetherness, the energy, the fight is at that level every night, there's a lot of good things ahead in Utah.
We've talked about Walker and like how strength has kind of changed him, but from a skill standpoint, what is he doing different than maybe he was in his rookie season or even last year?
He's much quicker from gather to finish. He's low. His body is low early, and so when he catches the ball, it's one motion up to the rim. Early in his career, it was a lot of catch, dip, and then go back up. But Walker's put in a lot of hard work. You know, perimeter players work a lot on shot prep, you know, getting my feet down early so I can get catch and shoots off. For bigs, it's a similar concept. It just looks different. So I guess you could say Walker's shot prep has improved. Also, his confidence has improved. Like, you see him making moves that are a little bit more demonstrative, a little bit less careful, a little bit less, I hope this is okay, you know, asking for permission, just playing with a lot more force.
He mentioned to us early in the season that over the summer he worked with what he said was like a mental strength coach.
Okay.
And he said that he felt like it's given him kind of the ability to like move on from things, not be so negative. And, do you think that you've noticed that from him?
Yeah, I think Walker is way less apologetic. And the way that usually manifests itself with him is that he's talking about something that happened 2 or 3 minutes ago. On that one, I thought that it's okay, man. Like, he's for sure grown in that area and is just kind of focused on what's ahead of him.
Transition defense-wise, you guys haven't been good this season, but you were tonight. What did you see as a difference in that?
Yeah, I think the team's willingness to change ends, the first 3 steps, is something that we've been talking about all year. The first 3 steps, changing ends, going both ways. And then I think our physicality, you know, being willing to put your body on the line in front of the basket, make people play over you. You know, tonight was a good example of what we want it to look like. Transition defense in the NBA is hard because it takes effort, and then it takes communication and problem solving. And the team has had moments where we've given great effort and we haven't talked great and haven't problem solved great. So putting those 3 things together tonight is a good step for us.
Seemed like Walker's energy was a bit of a tone setter for the rest of the team. Do you see that when he's playing with that type of activity that everybody responds?
Yeah, I think part of basketball and part of kind of any team sport is you want to do things that inspire your teammates, inspire your team. Walker has the ability to do that with some of the energy, block shots, rim run, tip in, tip dunk, but he's not the only one. There are nights that John has been an energy giver, setter for us. Keontae, Colin, Lowry, I mean, there have been moments this season where JC off the bench, he gives us a burst of energy. But, it's good to see Walker lean into that, because I think being a 5-man in the NBA is hard, because there are stretches of the game where you don't get the ball. For whatever the reasons are, that doesn't mean that you can't really impact the game, not just from like a winning standpoint, but from an energy standpoint. And, some of the secondary challenges Walker made at the rim, he goes to challenge the first one, they drop it off behind him. He turns and goes back up and blocks a shot at the rim. Those are plays that inspire your team. And so we need more of that from Walker.
Along those lines, he scores the first 4 points of the game. Like, do you see him more engaged because he got a couple of buckets early? Is that something you have to manufacture, or he can do that with offensive rebounds?
Both. We can try to manufacture it. I wish there was a kind of a foolproof way to do that. But offensive rebounding, those type of energy plays, obviously he can impact himself. I do think that any player that scores a couple early, it is a burst of energy. So yeah, we've talked as a staff about trying to get Walker involved early in the game. Sometimes that is as simple as we draw up actions to create an advantage on the perimeter, and when the guards get downhill, they have to make that rim read. The 5s in the NBA are trained to help. Dallas does a tremendous job. Lively and Gafford are coming across to protect the rim on every play. And so when those rim reads are executed properly, Walker can really be the beneficiary of that.
With Isaiah, or really any young guy who's not where maybe he wants to be as a shooter yet, do you want him to still take every open shot he gets, or do you want him to kind of play within what his game is currently and drive and kick or what have you?
Yeah, it's in between. It's not take any open shot you get. I think, the 2 threes Isaiah took today were in the corner. The pull-up that he shot was a 2-for-1 opportunity. He probably had Johnny on the pitch back on that one, but that's splitting hairs probably. Isaiah, I think, is playing to his strengths for the most part. It's a lot of dribble drive and kick. And so it's hard for me to harp on every shot that he's taking. If he takes catch and shoot open corner threes, he's playing between 12 to 16 minutes in the game. I do think it's important for him to shoot those shots when he's open. It can be disruptive to the rhythm of the game if the team makes a play, makes the right read, and then you just don't shoot the open one. Because we've seen Isaiah make a lot of them in practice. It is hard sometimes to translate to a game when it's shorter minutes and much fewer shots.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.